Start. Hello, everyone. A very logical day and a very logical week ahead to all of you. Let's see what we have in store for us this week and make it a point that you're reading two extra passages, two extra articles this week. Try doing it. Last week, those who are following it, it is very good. Those who are not, so kindly follow. That the bottom line is that you need to increase your speed and you need to increase your number of articles that you're reading in the same time slot. Right? So, hijacking Delhi, 22nd May, Indian Express. Let's see what we have in the reading part. The centre's ordinance promulgated on Friday unwisely and unabashedly undoes the judicial and judicious settlement of a long battle that gave primacy to representative government in Delhi. Promulgated on Friday unwisely and unabashedly. So you would know, you would be able to understand the meaning of unabashedly also, right? Judicial and judicious settlement. Judicious would mean, right? Intelligent, you can say something that is using acumen, and judicial is al ending word that is related to. So on May 11, a five-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice of India, Diva Chandrachud, unanimously ruled that the elected government of Delhi, which is a union territory with a legislative assembly, has control over services. The elected government has control over services, right? Now, the center has, in effect, defied the apex court's order by creating, through the ordinance, a National Capital Civil Service Authority headed by the Chief Minister, with the Chief Secretary and Principal Secretary Home as members. All matters required to be decided by the authority shall be decided by majority of votes of the members present and voting. This was in the ordinance. It says, since the SC order, the Aam Aadmi Party government has been in an unseemly hurry to take to task officers it perceives as doing the center's bidding. But the ordinance upends democratic accountability. Accountability is responsibility. Two bureaucrats appointed by the center can now overrule its elected chief minister. Right now, this is the major point, that if the center appoints two ministers, two bureaucrats, they can overrule the elected chief minister. The ordinance restores, even expands the lieutenant governor's control over Delhi's governance. If in its May 11 ruling, the court had struck a blow for the basic structure of federalism, this ordinance undermines constitutional federalism in both letter and spirit. We have done this many a times, letter and spirit, right? Letter means according to the words, literal meaning, and spirit means what its intent is. So this ordinance undermines constitutional federalism in both letter and spirit. In its bid to wrest control of a government led by another party, the center's move smudges and blurs the line of accountability that runs between the people and the representatives in Delhi, right? So federalism is your government at two various levels. One is the center and the other is the state, right? So decentralization power जैसा होता है वो. So it is like a bone of contention for them, right? So the major point would be this ordinance that is created by the center, and this ordinance defies the court's order, right? These are two phrases which we can connect to make a single point, right? And this was the explanation of it. This was important to understand the point. कि आखिर ये है क्या जो ऑथर ने कहा है या जो ये ऑर्डिनेंस के थ्रू होगा, राइट? So this ordinance undermines the constitutional federalism in both letter and spirit becomes another important point, right? So we have two things here. One, the ordinance that is created defies the apex court orders, right? Right? And this ordinance undermines the constitutional federalism in both letter and spirit. So you can connect these 4 points together and make a proper sentence. You get the first point of your first paragraph. Now, the question of the division of powers between the center's appointee and the state government has been considered and scrutinized by the court since 2015, when the former brought services under the Lieutenant General. The Delhi High Court upheld the center's decision, but in 2018, the SC ruled in favor of Delhi, demarcating the union and the Delhi government's spheres of control. This is what the SC has done, demarcated. You can understand from federal constitutional federalism is this division of powers, that is the whole bone of contention that I told you. So in 2019, a two-judge bench was split on the issue of services. The tortuous process finally led to the emphatic May 11 verdict. The government may well defend the government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Ordinance by citing parliamentary supremacy. The invocation of Parliament's prerogative, however, provides thin cover for an ordinance. Right? Prerogative is the right that the person has, so the Parliament has that. So it, however, provides thin cover for an ordinance that the executive has unilaterally pushed through, literally in the dark, and which hurts other foundational principles that are part of the basic structure of constitutional democracy. Now, see, you have done constitution, you have done these words at least, right? What you need to do, I'll be telling you in the end, two, three words which you have to read upon. But then from this, we can understand that the foundational principles of the constitutional democracy are being hurt when he says in the previous paragraph also that whatever SC said, right, the verdict of SC that has been defied, right, and it hurts. Here also it says that it hurts the constitutional democracy. इसके पहले वाले पैराग्राफ में भी यही था. इसका मतलब at least we get to know, get to understand that whatever has been given in that ordinance is maybe against, or at least it is hurting the democratic structure, right? Another thing that we can understand from these two paragraphs is the fight is about the division of power. That too, federalism, that means you can understand the word federalism now, right? It is the center plus the state. So the powers are either with the center or with the state, but what and which ones with whom, that is the whole fight about. So when we see this question of the division of powers between, they have been considered and scrutinized by the court, right? And demarcated the spheres of control. Union and Delhi governments, they are very clearly, very distinctly given there. Right? Then this is the parliament's prerogative, however, it provides a thin cover for an ordinance. Another point here, the major point, that the foundational principles are hurting the basic structure of the constitutional democracy. So you can combine these points together, you get two things again from the first and the second paragraph. One, there was a fight over the powers. Second, the ordinance was created, but then that ordinance is hurting the constitutional democracy. Same thing. Now, senior members of the ruling party and government often cite the people's mandate to underline the legitimacy of their actions and policies. By the same token, the Delhi Assembly and government also represent the people's will. So, when we apply PrEP, so this is the reasoning that the person is giving. Now, through this ordinance, the center seems to be sending the message that the only elections that matter are the ones the ruling party wins, and that the power conferred on it brooks no checks or balances. So on Saturday, the center moved the SC, challenging its May 11 order, coming a day after the ordinance. So first the ordinance was passed and then the order was given by the SC. This betrays the center's sense of purpose to shrink any elbow room the AAP government may have got because of the SC order. Any elbow room means any space that the AAP government has got. Of course, the case made in the review plea needs to be heard and contested, but the SC must ensure that the eloquent and essential defense of democratic federalism by its constitution bench is not hijacked. SC has to ensure this. So that means if there's a debate, see now you are clear with two things. One, they are fighting over the pass. Okay, fine. Second, there's an ordinance, there's a verdict, and there's an ordinance, right? And then the ordinance coming a day after the ordinance. So the center moved the SC. That means this SC came up with the verdict, center came up with the ordinance. They are against each other, overlapping, not overlapping, but against contested. Now, what the author says that it should be heard and contested. The plea should be heard and contested. SC must ensure that eloquent and essential defense of the democratic federalism is not hijacked. That means it is retained. ठीक है डेमोक्रेटिक फेडरलिज्म मतलब डेमोक्रेसी पर चोट नहीं पहुंचनी चाहिए that it should not be hijacked. So the Delhi case is a talismanic test of checks and balances in the face of an overweening center executive and legislator. These are the three parts, three pillars, you can say, and the fight is among these three. So, a few words, main idea, ordinance. We did that. Center's ordinance writes roughshod over the SC verdict. Court must step in to uphold federalism, reinforce checks and balances. So we get these three major points. Roughshod means it is defying, right? It was given in the first paragraph. So we have an ordinance given by the center, created by the center, which is defying the SC order. But what should the SC do? Now there is a plea against it. And what should the SC do? The SC should guarantee or see to it that it upholds the federalism or the federal democracy, right? This is strengthened. This should not be ousted. Coming up with the major words here now. Ordinance you can understand now. Rule, decree, dictum, diktat. Diktat bhi ho sakta hai. Roughshod is forceful, aggressive, being aggressive against the opponent. Federalism is like decentralization of power. I helped you understand. It is the center and then the state. But then this is something that you have to read on. Federalism tha, democratic federalism tha. I wrote it in the previous slide. So, and we have a constitutional democracy and constitutional federalism. Democratic, TIC कर लो. So democratic and constitutional federalism. ठीक है जो जो चीजें ऐसे स्लांट में रखोगे ना तो it will catch your eyes, your glance when you are going through your notebook. So something that you want to remember, something that you want to read, something that you need to focus on, but you need to recall, or usme you're facing a problem. So write it in the slant, write it in capital letters. These are ways of how you will be glancing at a notebook and catching the and get attracted to those words. तो याद आ जाएगा. तो फेडरलिज्म को कैपिटल में लिखो इसके बारे में पढ़ना मैंने पहले भी बोला है तुम्हें but those who have not yet read it kindly go through it because then you will not say that you are uncomfortable when you come across these words anything related to politics and government or economics. ठीक है I have given you many words you just go through it daily एक दो words पे पढ़ना शुरू कर दो and from that article also you will be getting more words so you should like surf something that is of relevance Promulgated, circulated, promoted. Unabashedly is shamelessly. Defied is to go against. This is the simplest one. Otherwise, you can use the word resist and confront. Smudges is like it spreads, right? It is spoiled. Blurs impression, not clear. It a blurred image होती है mainly. Scrutinize is बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ना, examine करना, dissection करना बिल्कुल ना. You need to diagnose it also. Tortuous is taut, right? Taut is a curve. Distort होता है जैसे एक word, distortion, right? So I have given you the word curve, but then crooked also. So disfigured is distortion. So tortuous roads. Invocation, woke means to, woke is related to voice. Invoke is that you're calling upon someone, right? And therefore the appeal or the petition. वो से यानी voice होता है. Then yeah, it's your prerogative, it's your right, it's your prerequisite, it's your privilege. जो हक बनता है वो. Site mention पर हमारे पास एक ये साइट भी होता है जो इंजीनियरिंग साइट होता है और एक ये भी होता है ऐसा GHT something. Site is related to what we can see. This site is related to a place, a location, and CIT site is mentioning. So you are given these 1, 2, and 3 words which are confusing words. Brooks is allows, but then brook is also a stream. ठीक है हल्का सा मतलब ऐसे ऐसे जो स्ट्रीम ऐसे बहती है बस water. That is called a stream. Talismanic is magical. Overweening is arrogant, pompous, conceited, like a snob, rude, like a snob. ठीक है ये हो जाएगा overweening. Now these are the 3 idioms: elbow room, take to task, and letter in spirit. So giving elbow room means the space that you have. Right? How much you can work, that is your elbow room. ये पहले हुआ है कि हम अगर हाथ ऐसे रख देते हैं एल्बो तक जब जितना स्पेस बनता है that is your elbow room. So that means how much you can make changes in your work. To take to task is to admonish. डांट लगाना उसे कहते हैं उसकी खबर लेना. That is admonish. ठीक है? Take to task. And letter and spirit we have discussed. Like traffic rules are to be followed in letter as well as in spirit. So that means ditto as it is given according to the instructions. उसे letter कहेंगे literal. Letter का मतलब हो जाएगा literal. Right? And spirit का मतलब हो जाएगा contextual. So I hope you have understood all this now. And as I said earlier, at least this week, start reading 2 extra articles. Let the articles be small. छोटे से पढ़ लेना मेरे चलेगा. But 2 extra articles, maybe from the business page, maybe from the, okay, you can do one thing. Read from the business page only. This week, we'll read from the business page or the economics page. One small additional article, make that a point. If you are going to follow, it will be helpful to you to solve the passages and to get accustomed to the terminology used in business and economics, right? So that's all for today. Thank you and have a very logical week ahead.